That it doesn't matter what position you find yourself in, and it doesn't matter who feels they have power over you. And because of that, you will have the provisions that you need. You will get the strength that you need in the process to move into a better direction so that the chaos and the trauma no longer causes me to feel like my soul was being ripped out. Hey now, how is everybody doing? Welcome to Red Alert Diaries with Tanya Ehud. I'm glad I get the chance to join you again. I'm also wondering if you have gone through some of the challenges that I have faced, because often when we try to face our challenges head on, we can feel defeated. It took me ending up on the bathroom floor of my two-bedroom apartment to discover we were never designed to function alone. And in order to get through that chaos, it takes a certain type of strength. Have you ever had a situation where the trauma and the chaos seem to rip your soul from your very being? See, my divorce did that to me. And it was after that situation that I discovered you need to dig deep to get a strength in order to support you on the journey. And sometimes you may need to make some adjustments. So here's a few things that I did to get me through that process. First, visualize what your future looks like. Sometimes we don't pay enough attention to the fact that we can find strength in what we want to have moving forward. Now, I get it. On the heels of a situation that is causing you some angst, you can't often think, but I want to challenge you. Think about what you really want. Visualize yourself 5 years from now. What do you see yourself doing? Who do you think you need to be in order to really make that happen? Because there are moments, if you're anything like me, I had to grow into my strength. I lost me in that divorce, and I lost elements of a strength that I already had. So I had to go on a discovery path. I took the time to discover things that I like. I took the time to ask other people that were around me the things that they felt I did well. There are moments that you do something so well that you don't even recognize it's a strength. And if you are a natural, loving, supportive individual, it's just what you do. Somebody has to tell you that that is a strength, that you are strong in some situations, that no matter what happens around your world, you will stand in the gap for someone else. But when it comes time to doing it for yourself, mm, because you don't see it as a strength, you don't maximize the use of it. So I want to encourage you, find out what your strength is. And when you visualize what your future looks like, that will help you get an idea so that you can do a personal assessment. When I finally took the time to do my assessment, I discovered that there were some things that I needed to do to change my outlook on life. And that also required me to pay attention to who was pouring into me because I had no problem pouring into everybody else. And I didn't know that the thing that I did was the strength that I needed. So find out who's in your circle. You may have heard that the 5 people that are closest to you, you have a commonality with them. And you may not grow past those 5 individuals because there's some familiarity in it. It's an enhancement to a strength that you already know you possess, but it doesn't always give you a stretching. So look into who's pouring into you. Are the 5 people that are closest to you supportive of your gifts, skills, and talents, the thing that you need to get what you visualize your future to be? Here's a second thing that I learned in that process. There's a skill that I already had that was a good skill, but I needed to enhance it. And like I was saying earlier, I didn't have the right people pouring into me to give me a different thought about how to enhance that skill. So I decided when I visualized my future self needed some different type of people that I needed pouring into me because there was a skill that they had that I admired. Take the time to see, who do you admire? Why do you admire them? What is it about what they are doing that helps you believe that that future version of who you are, oh, that future version of you is going to be able to have that tapped into and enhanced by exposing myself to a new group of people? Because the five people that I initially saw in my inner circle, they were good, but it didn't give me a stretching. So I added two new people that was in my inner circle. Now, here's the other thing. When you are walking through enhancing your circle and enhancing the various things that you're doing, you may not be able to blend those individuals. I had separate circles for some of my friends. So I had the friends that I grew up with. They have a different thought process about you, different skill sets that you bring to the table when you're hanging out with them. And then I had my high school friends. We met in high school. And at that point, it was a different version of Tanya that was going through that journey. And they also became really good friends. But there was a cap at some of the skill sets that we all brought to the table because we hadn't yet lived life. So I needed a third set of friends. I had those that my grandmother tried to give me, which were like mentors. And for those of you that heard and often know, I'm a village baby. So as a village baby, the elders that were in my world gave me a certain set of skills and a different outlook on life. So that was helpful. So that became like my fourth circle. But then it was a fifth one, a fifth circle that I needed, that I decided to let that be part of my five closest friends. And if you need to like bunch them up like that, do it. Make it easy for you to figure out how to enhance your world, to find your strength so that you can move into a better direction. And it was there that I discovered these individuals didn't look like me, didn't talk like me, didn't have any of the life experiences that I truly had. It was a stretching. And it was in that stretching that I learned how to enhance a skill I already possess. You see, I am an amazing administrative assistant. I can go through and quickly process and develop a plan of action for how to get to the next position. But I needed to have a different way of stretching that skill. So, on the aftermath of my divorce, when I did that autopsy and discovered 5 years from now, and I want to do this, I am good at this now, but who can use the skills that I have now and how can I get a stretching in it? So when I surrounded myself by some other people that could use my current skill, what they asked me to do with it was the stretching. Some of you have heard, and a lot of you already know, I used to do real estate investing. Leased options was the niche that I was really good at. And I wanted to expand that because I wanted to do full gut renovations. I didn't have a team, so I had to figure out what do you do next. And when I started working with real estate investors, my administrative skill for being able to assess an area, being able to scope out the deal, that is what I brought to the table. But what they helped me enhance was how I look at those deals a little bit different. Where can I go to enhance how I can research? That enhanced researched ability stretched my skill set and I found a new strength. It was in that new strength that I gained new terminology, new insight, new questions, which opened up a new window for me. That new window in my world gave me the stretching that I need that changed my personal position about who I am. It gave me an enhancement and a strength I already brought to the table. And it also allowed me to get into a better financial position so that I wasn't stuck relying on some past elements that was no longer supporting me. Here's a third thing that I discovered. In doing that, there will be times in your stretching that you will outgrow some of the people that are around you. Now, it never feels good when you realize that you have outgrown some of the people that are in your world, but I need you to know it's okay to outgrow some individuals that you have in your current circle because they cannot handle the altitude that you are going. Just like there are people, when you go through your chaos, they aren't able to handle the level that you need to express yourself to get through, to get the support in that journey. Your growth, there are people that are not going to be able to handle your growth They're not going to understand the new terminology that you may need to incorporate in your well-being. They're not going to understand the new circle of friends that you will have to develop in your process to get there. So I want you to know it's okay. It's not easy, but it's okay. So here's the thing to help me with the okay moments: letting Jesus join you on the journey. You see, no matter where you go in changing your circle and enhancing your skill sets and developing your new strength, God is the strength that you need, that you can call on to get you through any of those processes. It took me recognizing that I needed Jesus to join me on the journey, because some of those steps I walked, it felt like alone. That experience on the bathroom floor of my 2-bedroom apartment felt like me being alone. No new circle was developed yet because I hadn't yet gained the wherewithal that I capped out my skill set, that I capped out on the current strength that I had, and that I was in the middle of building new muscles, getting new elements in my being, so that when I decided to face the challenges of life head on again, it wouldn't take me out. I want you to know that it doesn't matter what position you find yourself in, and it doesn't matter who feels they have power over you. When you let Jesus join you on the journey and recognize that God is the source to all your resources, you'll be able to recognize that when Jesus said, "I have overcome the world," so that you can have life and have it more abundantly. He meant that. And because of that, you will have the provisions that you need. You will get the strength that you need in the process to move into a better direction. So don't get caught up in the problems that you experience. Pause long enough so that you can hear the promptings of the Holy Spirit in your soul. That small moment of gaining the understanding that I needed a different type of strength helped me to hear the small promptings of the Holy Spirit as He guided me to new directions in a better position, so that the chaos and the trauma no longer causes me to feel like my soul was being ripped out. I've had other challenges, and then I have had challenges that was greater than the divorce that I went through. But it was there that I built my muscles. It was there that I found my strength. It was a new version of Tanya that was being built, that allowed me to speak my truth when the world wanted to silence me. The new version of me found the strength I needed, and I am ever evolving. So I will be able to withstand new challenges that will come, because they're coming. And so for today, if you don't remember anything that I've said, is the one thing I want you to know: you may need to visualize the future that you desire, so that you can determine the strength that you need that's probably inside of your soul. And the second thing you'll need to do is enhance that strength, because a new version of you is needed in order to get to the best version of you and the things that you want. And it's okay if you find that you're in a position where you gotta get a new set of friends to help you get a different outlook on life, to have somebody pouring into you so that when you're going through the stretching, you will be okay, because the world needs you to still continue to grow and develop, so that you know you are worth the changes that you have to make to be the best version of yourself. And if you want someone to join you on the journey, feel free to go to my website, TanyaEhood.com. There you can click under the Work With Me tab and see the various ways that we can work with one another. And if you are on YouTube, you can join me live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we can continue this conversation, or we can start a new one. In the meantime, this is Tanya Ehud, walking in my purpose, and I want you to do the same.